Hey guys, welcome to the Save Session, the sessions you always want to save. I'm your host TJ.
And this is BJ.
And welcome to the second episode of the Save Session podcast. And today we decided to maybe fool around a little bit with what we said before and talk about our biggest disappointments within gaming so far, or at least within the last couple of years, what we find most disappointing. And Bruce, why don't you kick us off? What was disappointing about you in gaming recently? You can remember off the top of your head. Tell me.
Okay, I got you. So let me cook. As much as a Spider-Man fan as I
Call him Gordon Ramsay, he's cooking.
am, I would have to say, honestly, Spider-Man 2's ending was pretty disappointing. It was a great game. This leads into a second part, but it was a great game. And it was super fun. Everything about it was a lot better than the last two Spider-Man games because it was a major improvement. They took away some things, unfortunately, that I did like, but that didn't affect my enjoyment. Though I will say that when it came to, like, I guess the common sense of the story, it was like, I'm trying to go this way. The game makes me feel like I'm going this way, but then it's like, gotcha, and we're going that way. Sorry.
I say, try to karate chop me, try to slit my throat open.
No, it would have been like a...
Did Spider-Man hurt you that bad? Who hurt you, bud? Who hurt you, bud?
Insomniac.
You can't sleep and someone hurt you. Dang.
I tried to use the web wings and flew right into a building. I saw some things I didn't need to see. But I think the story was pretty good. It had some fall-offs, but the thing that made it disappointing is it started out really, really, really strong, but dropped the ball closer to the end, and then how they...
And this one I can heavily agree with.
Yes, and they dropped the ball heavily, like, with their changes and some things as well, because, like, I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense why Harry's Venom in Spider-Man 2 is mad at Miles when Peter actively ignored Miles to spend time.
That is something that, like, where basically he's mad at Miles because, well, I think he was just jealous of Miles that him and Miles were spending all this time together. And therefore, the Venom symbiote, the suit, was basically, it was enhancing those anger emotions because that's what it does. But what I can definitely agree with, and this is something me and you've also talked about, it's basically on paper, when you look at everything, on paper, everything should be there to give you that emotional gut punch of the story that they're trying to tell. But in terms of everything else, yeah, it just kind of falls flat. And that I can absolutely give to you.
Yeah.
So, I think basically, I can see why Harry, like the Venom, basically you have to jump through a lot of hoops to make that make sense. Making it make sense, the hoops I jump through is, okay, well the symbiote enhances anger, so therefore, he's not exactly mad at Miles, but all those negative emotions got to him eventually to the point to where he got angry. That makes sense?
Yeah,
So that's now the thing is the game doesn't present it that well.
Not at all.
And that's where the disappointment comes in. Is nothing is presented that well. Like everything is set up, but then the game just kind of meanders about. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of, a little bit, yeah. Because it was like it's kind of like the presentation was really, really set up to be something, but then it's just executed poorly. Because it kind of like it took inspiration from the Man of Steel and the Amazing Spider-Man. Great actors by all means, but it's just the directive sequences were just so bad. You look at them like, why his suit look like that? Why does Superman feel so godly? Why does he not, like, why he didn't have to kill that man like that? He didn't have to, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, that goes into the second thing, and it was like, the ending of it was just, in my opinion, the ending of it was very lackluster. It's just like how in God of War Ragnarok, the whole game is titled.
That's another disappointment?
Yes. It's God of War Ragnarok. It's like the Ragnarok is supposed to be the most important part, but the first thing you see is
everything you
Normie with the hammer and vanish, and you're like,
if you know anything about Norse mythology, Ragnarok is the end-all be-all war that basically destroys everything. It's basically an apocalypse.
Yeah, and it was it didn't really feel like an apocalypse.
Not only is it a war, it's an apocalypse, the end of the world. And then once you get there and actually doing it, once it starts, it's okay because you're trying to break through the wall. Then when you get into it, it looks like the fighting's already like done and wrapping up because there's like nobody there. All the buildings are leveled and everything is just gray and smoky, and all you do is fight Thor. And the thing is, that's cool fighting Thor and all, but in the end, it was just...
The first Thor fight was way better.
First Thor fight was way better. Especially, hey, let me add on to that disappointment. Let's talk about, what's his name? The World Serpent?
Yormi.
I
mean, it's Jormungandr, but I call it Yormi for short.
Jormungandr. Basically, how there's this whole mythos in the first one, how he basically wraps around the entire world, and he recognizes Thor even though they haven't fought yet. And the reason they haven't fought yet, technically, is because there was a story where Thor hit him so hard, he traveled back in time to the point of his own birth. Even Kratos, who's done a lot, is like, that is just madness. That is insane. And then when you actually get to when it happens, it just looks like Thor's like, bunk, and the guy's like, brrr. And that's it.
That sounded like a really wet fart.
You're welcome. He's, just like the...
Yeah, because like it was the at the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Siri, shut up.
That scared me so much. I was like, is someone in this house? Did Pee-wee start talking all of a sudden? That would be scary. Mm-hmm. Bro just walks in, open the door.
That wouldn't be scary. I think he'd be a lot more annoyed.
Probably. Mm-hmm.
But basically the serpent going back in time, just the visual. What we could have done is...
though, the boss... Loki.
Loki, I see what you did there.
Oh, God. But the final boss fight of God of War Ragnarok was also very mediocre as well.
Spoilers, it's Odin, and basically, spoiler alert for all of this.
Yeah, because, sorry, spoilers. But, I'm sorry, when you beat him and he gets just turned into like a little gumball and
turned to a marble.
It might as well have been a gumball at that point. He comes out of like the brother, I can't remember his name.
Sindri.
He's just like...
Atreus is like, I just can't do it. Sindri's like, I can.
You could have made that into a weapon. You could have, done anything cooler.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, isn't it worse that he's like dead? Like, isn't it worse? Like, and that's something I wish they would have done, and hence why I think the biggest disappointment with Ragnarok, even though I love the game, I think it's one of the greatest games ever made, as in my top 10. But the reason I can agree it's very annoying. Mm-hmm. Top 5, yeah. Mm-hmm. Top 10, TT. It just rolls off the tongue better. But in my top 5, the reason it's in my top 5 is because gameplay-wise, it absolutely solos and carries most other combat games, in my opinion. I just love the varied combat with the axe, with the spear, with the chains. I absolutely love it. But where I can agree is the story was very lackluster. And the reason they did that, I remember there was an interview with the developers. They said they didn't know if they could make Fimbulwinter itself interesting enough to justify an entire game. Which ultimately that backfired because I'm doing another playthrough right now and I just got to the part where he got to Ironwood, because he dreamt his way there. That, I will agree, is a plot I come to the conclusion I don't like. I don't like how he just magically teleported to Ironwood because that felt like the story has nowhere to go, so they'll just like, for plot convenience, there you go. Okay, now the story can continue. I'm like, I feel like I missed a page here, and they even said like, how did I get here? The dog barks at him and goes, oh, I dreamt my way here? Okay, makes sense. It's like, no, it doesn't. Explain what happened. How did this happen? You can do that? When can you have done that? And Atreus like, oh, okay, this is fine. Da-di-da-di-da. Me, if I did that, I'm like, what? I'm somewhere else? I dream my way here? What about my family? What about everything? What about my cat? Like, what's happening? I want to go home. Like, I would be panicking.
I would just think it was a dream the whole time. I'd be like,
am I in another place? Can I get home? What's happening? And Atreus is like, cool. Mainly because he saw Angerboda, which was, his love interest, so. But But yeah, that was in my opinion when it started really falling off. And then, oh yeah, it does that whenever I flick my wrist. But
Look at it.
thank you. But basically it did that. Then afterwards, there was the moment of the game. It could have redeemed itself because basically, again, spoilers for all this, Atreus goes away from Kratos. He runs away.
I just thought that was so stupid how he did it and Kratos' reaction. Like, it was like, okay. Boy! Like, I thought he was about to break out an R&B song about how much he missed and loved his song or his kid. And I was like, he's trying to be the next Usher.
Well, to me, all of that makes sense because it ended with Atreus just absolutely crashing out because, again, it showed in the beginning his emotions, if they're strong enough, can overwhelm him, kind of like what Kratos did before.
He's a bear.
Yeah, and he became a bear, and he just loses all sense of control. And once he finally, ran out and escaped, finally he gained a little bit of semblance. Once he's out of the area he feels is danger, and then he tries to teleport away. All because he's lying to Kratos, and Kratos is really disapproving of everything he's doing. And so, yeah, that's basically all the things that are just kind of disappointing, just kind of add up after a while. But mainly, once he disappears and goes to Asgard, that's when the game could have absolutely redeemed itself. And basically just shown us, like, everything about Fimbulwinter. Meanwhile, Atreus could have just learned everything. We could have seen Asgard in its absolute fullness, which, in my opinion, we never fully saw. Like, we saw all of them.
A giant rock thing?
Well, basically, it's a giant wall. Basically, it was crafted to basically keep everyone else out.
And yet, everyone got into it.
But basically, once you get there, you think, oh, this would be cool to explore. This is basically like a new hub world. No, you're only allowed in very certain scripted sections, which is like, oh, that's kind of lame. You don't get to see the full scope of Asgard and what makes Asgard so glorious. Like, you get to fully explore a lot of other sections, but for some reason, Asgard, they just didn't let you do that. And that's why it's also so disappointing when you see it crumbles. Like, oh, I guess we're never going to see what their full vision of Asgard would have been like.
Yeah.
So, there's that. And then what could have happened is Kratos could have basically gone on a journey to look through other lands and basically see all the different effects they had on different lands, and basically let him to decide maybe war isn't that bad or make him less decisive. Because where I think, this is a bit of a controversy, but where I think it should have ended was when you kill Heimdall. In my opinion, should have been like the final boss.
You feel more like a final boss than Odin.
Because what I think should have happened, the game should have been longer up until that point, and what should have been happening is these clear. Basically, after that, Atreus was going back to Odin, doing missions for Odin, and then eventually he went back to Kratos, and then he was basically a double agent going back and forth. Which is like, that's okay, I guess, but what could have been really cool is if Atreus basically was there and basically seeing everything and kind of got enraptured in basically Odin and his lies and his charm. Like it showed he was kind of doing. Like he was actually seemed like he was starting to kind of believe Odin and just his thirst for knowledge and power. And the fact that he kind of regrets things he did, even though it showed he never regretted anything he did. But basically, Atreus could have believed in him enough to where he was kind of even questioning his own morals of, being there and, spying on him. And then the ending could have been basically Kratos and Heimdall fighting and Odin basically planning for Heimdall to be sacrificed and using that as a moment to show Atreus, like, he'll see your dad is like this monster, this evil person. Like, everyone says, I'm bad, but look at what your father just did. He didn't have to do any of this. He didn't have to do any of that. And I know there was some that had to have written around, because I know there's a lot of plot points and contentions around that, but basically that's kind of what I think should have been done. It should have been written more smartly to basically show Atreus being more manipulated. And then it could have ended with Atreus leaving Kratos permanently and going to Asgard. And then we could have gotten a third game and based around all that. Even maybe having Atreus as like the main character and having Kratos as more of the side character. I know that's a bit of a weird thing to think about, but
At the same, a good spinoff.
Yeah, it could have been a good spinoff, or it could have been an actual conclusion giving more time to actually develop Ragnarok itself. Call it Ragnarok because heck, you could also go through the realms again, but show them decaying because of Ragnarok and Fimbulwinter. Like Fimbulwinter shows how they were affected. Like it basically shows how they were affected through everything, and have it be God of War Fimbulwinter, and then have it be God of War Ragnarok after that. Like Fimbulwinter, show how everything is changing and possibly changing for the worst, and then Ragnarok, show everything decaying, and then they find out the only way to save everything is Asgard's gotta go. And then it basically can end with this big dramatic thing where maybe even Atreus is a little bit older, maybe 2 or 3 years older, and show them, just coming together again. And maybe even then Atreus and Kratos can fight, only for Kratos to, again, lay down his life, saying, I won't find my son, I won't kill my son. And Atreus then has to make a decision. Does he kill Kratos, or does he turn his back on Odin? All of that could have been great plot points that ended because they decided to make it a duology instead of a trilogy. So yeah.
Also, they missed out on a lot of other key godly figures from the Norse mythology.
Absolutely.
Because, I don't know too many myself. Ooh, excuse me. They also could have done something with implementing more of the Greek, not full-on bringing Greek characters out there, because that's what Valhalla did. Mm-hmm. But it was just bring more of his Greek roots back. Yeah. Because
again, they could have had him more wrestle with that. Showing he's becoming the angry god he was, and then the whole rest of the game, and even maybe the beginning of we're talking about Ragnarok as if it were the third game, have it begin with him still wrestling, maybe even almost fully falling into his old ways, and then
that would be actually extremely interesting.
And then showing
God of War 3 Kratos again,
and then showing that, and even then he could have a mental battle with his old self, he could show his newer self, his older self, and then maybe even have a thing to where he can't kill his past, but he fully merges and accepts it.
Yeah, because that'd be really cool.
Because that's kind of what they did.
That would also answer that question of old Kratos versus new Kratos.
Yeah, it would be a mental thing, I think. There's no way they could possibly do it. If they deal with more time travel stuff, I guess they could have probably done it. But at the same time, yeah, they could have absolutely.
What are you looking at?
I'm just looking up while I'm thinking. This is what I do when I think sometimes. I'm looking at the wall, but I'm seeing the vision in my head. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing the vision. Imagination. Yeah, but basically, Ragnarok could have been the third game, but it would have been a lot better. They could have fleshed more things out, and the world could have been a lot more robust than what it was. So, Bruce, lay us in on another disappointment.
If you're an anime fan, it should be an easy answer to that question.
Oh, no, I know what you're going to bring up.
Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero is a terrible game, and
terrible?
It's a terrible game. Terrible game.
Now, this is a hot take that I slightly disagree with, because I love Sparking Zero. No, I do agree it could be better, but I don't know if I'd call it terrible.
The game is fundamentally a terrible game on every aspect, and it's creation outside of fun factor. Because I can admit, you can have fun playing the game.
Isn't that the main part of any game?
But everything else about that game is so on fire and burning trash that it's unrecyclable, and you wouldn't even make a compost pile with it. I'd be ashamed if someone said, I made these vegetables with my Sparking Zero game. I'd be like, burn it. Just throw it back out. It's terrible. Because you can't tell me you have the template. Budokai Tenkaichi 3. All those characters, you matched. Absolutely, you matched it. But how do y'all still leave out key important characters that have been in every other game since?
Like who?
Pycon.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No, the other Shinrons, at least Ice and Nova, they made their first debut in Xenoverse, though, to be fair. Super 17 is not in Sparking Zero, and he's been in every Dragon Ball Z game except
And that
for
is weird that
Fighting Z.
they added GT characters, but not him.
Exactly. They added movie characters that like also weren't in there, and then they legitimately half their game doesn't work the other portion of the time. So on not only did they didn't do a lot of the characters that are originally faithful to Dragon Ball Z games justice, the new ones they added into it, they didn't even add the versions that we liked. So case in point, we got like when Daima Goku first came out. Mm-hmm. How come he can't? How come we just didn't get another variation of Goku? You just attached X version to X version. So for a better example, because that was terrible,
kind of.
Daima Vegeta is connected to Buu Saga Vegeta. But then the Super Saiyan 3 is his own character. He doesn't have his own template. It's just Super Saiyan 3 adult Vegeta, right? Meanwhile, the kid version, you have Super Saiyan. They even gave him a little animation and everything. They did at least they did that part right. The animations of transforming are really entertaining. How they launch their attacks can be cool, but very repetitively.
Yeah, it can be repetitive, especially because they only give you 2 special moves and an ultimate. Meanwhile, other games had a lot more.
Because like for example, Raging Blast 2, Goku has 8 selectable skills or more. Meanwhile, you just have to pick the different. Yes, they're different. They're different Gokus, so they arguably you have all of them. But instead of making a game where we have 30, 40 Gokus, you can just have one Goku and have his skills be more.
That's actually what I was gonna say. Mainly because I do think the UI and the character selection in that game is terrible.
Absolutely, but
the UI is so bad, so cluttered, and there's some weird decisions like Zamasu. You can't get Fuse. You can buy all the rest of the characters and unlock them.
You can actually buy Fuse Zamasu too.
Yeah,
but that's after you use the Dragon Balls to wish for at least.
No, you just get it. I remember because I tried it and I did it.
Oh, because I wished for Goku Black, and I never had either of the Zamasus. And
I remember I had to buy Goku Black, but for some reason the fusion wasn't unlocked. You had to use Super Shenron from the Super Dragon Balls in order to do it.
Yes.
And then for some reason,
and then you still have to buy the corrupted form.
Yeah, you still have to. No, you need to use the Super Dragon Balls to unlock that too. Because I looked it up. Why? I don't know.
I've only got the Super Dragon Balls once, and I
got them twice, and I looked on the store. I'm like, well, I brought them into battle. I'm like, now I can finally fuse them, and now I can do it. I couldn't. I'm not lying. I'm not making up. But I don't know if it was a patch update or whatever. But because I unlocked them to almost a year after the game came out. It was after the Daima characters came out that I finally unlocked them.
But that's what you said. That's another reason how you know the game is kind of cheeks. Because if it was good, it wouldn't have taken you a year to get.
Yeah, well, mainly because I didn't understand or know that's what you had to do. Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
And then basically what I had to do is I had to go through the entire Goku Black section of the story, which also that's a disappointment, deciding what characters get a story and what don't.
Not to mention cutting them off when they should be expanded upon, because the Beast Gohan thing happened. You don't get to play that fight. Vegeta's story ends in Buu, and it doesn't even proceed to.
In my opinion, the thing that absolutely some of the ones that floored me the most was Goku becoming a Super Saiyan during the Vegeta fight.
Yeah, some of the what ifs are really good.
Actually, him getting there before Nappa killed everyone, so he was able to defeat Nappa. Nappa dies, and then with all of their combined strength, they were able to wear down and beat Vegeta, even in Grade 8 form. So he didn't even need Super Saiyan or anything. Goku wasn't powerful enough to beat Grade 8 Vegeta still, but with everyone else's help, he was still rolling out like the Avengers. They were able to take him down.
Yeah, I actually like the what ifs where Gohan actually worked on his anger and his mind, so he didn't get super cocky and then didn't defeat Cell. when he should have. I mean, the whole him blowing himself up thing still happens because he tries to sneak attack it. But it wasn't he let his guard down and got too cocky. It's because he just got sneaked, you know? So that was really interesting. Or when some of the Vegeta ones, like if you beat Boo, I mean the ones where if they would have won the fight, it ends the chapter. Those are lame. But like the absolute best one is Gohan Black.
That's what I was about to bring up because that absolutely floored me. I'm like, okay, so it does this thing where Goku defeats Frieza Golden, even though that doesn't really make sense in my opinion, how he's strong enough to do that. Because Golden Frieza is strong enough as a god, and yet somehow Gohan, who's been lacking on his training, still somehow beats him. That part doesn't make sense, but then again, it gave us, in my opinion, the coolest what if, where Gohan decides to recontinue his training after that, with how hard it was to fight Frieza. The only thing I can imagine is Frieza maybe got cocky and thought he didn't need his golden form, and that's how Gohan was able to win. That's the only thing I can imagine. But then Gohan and like basically continue his training to where he became the strongest fighter, even stronger than Goku and Vegeta. And then the Gohan Black saga, that was actually really cool.
You know what was really disappointing about that?
What?
You couldn't fucking play it. God, you couldn't play as him.
Yeah, that would actually have been something much cooler too, is if they like made what if characters like completely on their own, or even then they brought in like Xenoverse characters.
That a lot. Don't worry about it.
Like they brought in Xenoverse characters.
That'd be cool too, because
like making it canon with Xenoverse.
Did that.
Like that. There's a lot of things it could have done, and I guess I can't blame the developers too much because it's hard to pick which fan service to pander to. But at the same time, it's...
But they had a template, though.
Yeah, they had a template.
Budokai Tenkaichi 3 did.
Yeah, that's the thing. But then again, pandering to one of them would have been better than pandering to none of them.
Arguable, because the current Dragon Ball Z game, like the one that's like League of Legends, they're pandering to everything, and everyone loves that game. The only reason they don't like the game is because
that's what I mean. They're pandering to everyone instead of nobody.
Well, I mean, it's like the fans, not like I think they're just trying. It's one of them things where they're trying out a different gameplay style, which is like I don't personally like League of Legends gameplay, but like the character models and all the customizations and stuff that should have been in Sparking Zero is in a phone game now. So it's like. Y'all had the chance, so y'all trying to make up for it because Sparking Zero was such a it was arguably one of the hypest things ever. Absolutely. I'd rather stub my pinky toe 4 times.
Your pinky toe?
Yes, my pinky toe on a chunk of broken glass. I'd rather do that than play Sparking Zero ever again.
I think I'd rather play it mainly because when I play Sparking Zero, I'm having a stroke right now. Sparking Zero, I would rather, right now, I would play it, but I only ever go into like the, what do you call it? Like the versus match, and just pick whatever fun character or team I think I'd like to go against, or even just go to the world tournaments and just have fun, just bashing heads in there.
Yeah, because one thing that, like, as cool as the animations are, they do get really repetitive. But I think, I saw a YouTube video, but I don't remember the guy's name, or I'd shout him out. But he made a good point saying that Sparking Zero's ultimate attacks are built to clash. Not like...
Oh, absolutely.
And...
With how, like, cinematic they are, it's meant to be like, I'm pulling this out, and it gives... the other person time to realize, oh, we're doing ultimate attacks? Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, if you imagine you're like doing a combo, right? Then all you do is break out and attack, and he's over here going like, pushing to the limits, and he's like, bro, I had like 6 chances to smack you in the head. You're lucky the game put me in a cutscene, or I'd just been like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, what are you doing?
Okay, because I will admit the ultimate attacks and the ultimate beams are really good. The rush attacks feel really good when they actually connect.
Oh,
sure.
Dude, their tracking is so bad. But I did find out...
Oh, yeah, their tracking is terrible, though.
It turns out the tracking in Tenkaichi 3 Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is also not that great. Because, like, the thing is, it locks on if you're close enough, but if you're not close enough, it's just like how in Spark, you just go straight. Or you just go, like, 2 seconds.
Or sometimes it doesn't seem like... Or there have even been times where I hit them up and I do my attack. Sometimes it connects. Sometimes my character's like, whoop, like, nope, you missed. Like, wait, what? Says who? Says me.
Yeah, it's like my aura scratches you. It doesn't count because like in older games, even if like you can miss, but if a little bit of you like any of your character's frame in that instance touches you, you're caught. And some of them were a lot of them are actually unblockable in the older games. So that's at least they made them blockable, I guess. But like
I would rather it be blockable than rather it be so inconsistent.
Yeah. So like, but the ones that are obviously grab based animations, those ones make sense that you can't block those.
Well, yeah, because if you're blocking and then someone just grabs your arm, it's like, well, I was blocking, and now that I got your arm, I'm gonna throw you. Yeah. And
although I will say to like, honestly, like as a Dragon Ball fan and as a gamer, like
it didn't deliver.
You can like something and understand how terrible it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That comes to some of my disappointments. My disappointment in something I think is the worst, and that is the current state of Pokemon. Yeah. And I can talk on that because I've played Pokemon since I was a kid. One of the first memories I had is I had a whole room decorated with Pokemon.
Woo!
And
a kid had a Gengar shirt on at the gym today.
Hey, nice.
Like I don't know if you saw him earlier today, but like he walked in and he was going like this. I was like, oh, that's
Pokemon is absolutely awesome in concept, and for most of the previous games, like in the DS era, they were on fire. They were on top of their game.
Absolutely.
But then once they got off and got onto Nintendo Switch, they fell off so freaking hard. It's like the quality of games, which it makes sense because the development team was mainly made for handhelds. And you can only do so much on a handheld, but because they kept, basically working on it and improving again and again and again on their previous work, like up to it, it was fine. Everything was fine. But then, once you actually got to, the home console, the Nintendo Switch, the most powerful console that Pokemon has ever been on. And the first thing you get is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Kind of a main series, kind of not, but that kind of makes sense because Let's Go was still really big at the time. So basically it was a way to give a main series game with more like understandable mechanics for, people who've only played Let's Go or like Pokemon Go. So that was a good little middleman, but...
Didn't they have like a whole Pokeball accessory that connected?
Yes, I had that, and it had Mew inside of it. And that's the only legitimate Mew I've ever had in my life. I mean, I've done the thing where you can like make a glitch and catch Mew in the game, but you can't transfer it out of the game. But yeah, that's the only legitimate Mew that I've ever had. I think I've had another one, because there's another one where you can get Mew or Jirachi if you have a previous save data of another game. But that's all besides the point.
Not Jirachi. At least in I think
I think it was Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, because I think you had to have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee save data.
That's for Mew, because I never had Let's Go data.
Either that or Sword or Shield. I think it was for that, because you got Jirachi, because I think you got Mew for Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee, and Jirachi for Sword and Shield. I think so, but then the first thing that comes out as like a full main series title was Sword and Shield, which was good for halfway.
Those designs are like mid though.
The designs, it was clearly one of those things, it was drawn first and brought to 3D, when it feels like a lot before, I can't quote on this, but it feels like a lot of them were developed in 3D, but also developed to where they could more easily be drawn. But these ones felt like they were fully drawn first and then coded in, which is good, which is fine. Again, I could be completely wrong about that, but that's how it feels. But then the Pokemon designs were okay. They weren't the best. They were okay. But then they took away so many features that it was just kind of mind-boggling. First of all, it's the easiest Pokemon game we've ever had. Hands down.
Absolutely.
Like, you said you had a buddy. All he had was Noivern, and I think he had his ability or hidden ability, I forget which one it is, Cacophony, which boosts sound-based moves. And then he just kept doing boom bursts throughout the entire game. And of course, he's level 100. That's cooking most things. With Cacophony boosting it by, like, I think 50%. So, yeah. It's basically a stab boom burst with a high level Pokemon.
Going to town.
And the thing is, boom burst hits both Pokemon, so even in double battles, he's safe. But then we get arguably one of the most art-defining regions we've had in a long time, because one of the most disappointing things is you go through the game, you're going through the wild area, which, again, another disappointment on that is it's a wild area. Basically, it was around the time Breath of the Wild was also came out, so everything had to be...
You said wild twice.
Did I?
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild had just come out, so the wild area in Pokemon seemed like it was kind of inspired, like everything Nintendo was kind of Breath of the Wild inspired, with like everything needing to kind of be a little open world. And in this game, it was the first time you could control the camera and the player at the same time, but there was nothing in there aside from Pokemon. Like, aside from the wild area, had nothing but Pokemon in it, which I guess is fine, but if it's a wild area with a big open field, you need to have something that rewards exploration. Which, sure, the thing is, you could find, like, a strong Pokemon, but at the same time, you can also find the pre-evolution somewhere else. So, that strong Pokemon there, you can either train it up or catch it there. But even then, until you reach a certain level, get a certain gym badge, you can't even throw a ball, because your player's too nervous to throw a ball. Which they fixed in Scarlet and Violet, but whoo, Scarlet and Violet. I thought Cyberpunk released bad. Scarlet and Violet, at least main game, it was okay, it was semi-stable. You introduced multiplayer, the game collapsed, broke. And basically, how I know it's bad, it took a Nintendo Switch 2 to make it stable. I played through it again. The only good thing about that, in my opinion, was the main Pokemon mechanics we've had since Gen 1. The catching.
That should be a new Pokemon name.
Catchling. There's some called Changling.
Exactly.
I guess a pre-evolution to Chingling, because Chimecho got an Mega Evolution. But, yeah, I know, it was, But, basically, the mechanics we've had since Gen 1, the catching, battling, and raising the Pokemon, and leveling them up and evolving. That is the most fun in the game, but I can't give that to the game, because that is what's been in the game since, Gen 1. And sure, you can go around and, battle anything you want, any gem in any order you want, but they don't scale with your level. So sure, I could go to the very tippy top of the mountain where basically the highest level gym leader is, but the thing is, he's the highest level. So my team, full of probably at this point, probably 15s or 20s if I got that far and was just running past everything. Basically, the Pokemon around you are still level 50s, and then he's in the high 50s, early 60s. So it didn't scale, so it doesn't matter if you can't get there. Realistically, you can't beat that, you can't win. The fun part of any open world game is, sure, it might be a little bit more difficult, but you can still beat it and try if you try hard enough. Sure, there's some, battle strategies you could do if you want to set that up, but at the same time, no one realistically does or wants to do that because it's not as fun.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is it's fun with your current abilities, you can do it. Just like with Elden Ring, you could blitz through the game, not care about anything else. It's going to be harder. You could not level yourself up at all, you can still beat that game. Because all of it is still basically based off timing and your skill level. That's not based on skill, that's just based off you're not high enough level yet, and you don't have the current Pokemon on access to you yet.
Okay. And since you were speaking of timing, it looks like that will have to be today's episode. We appreciate all you guys for sticking around. It has been the save sessions. These are the sessions that you should save. Make sure you like, follow, comment, and subscribe. And
let us know in the comments what your most disappointing games were, or your most disappointing just gaming experiences.